what? Even if the film title tells me, I'm still going to look up, aren't I? Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. We're into the Oscar season now. Just recently the nominees have been announced, and Don't Look Up was actually on my watch list already, but I thought with the nominations it is definitely worth checking out. I'll also have a look at the other films. There was The Power of the Dog and Tick Tick Boom. Tick Tick Boom also I was going to watch anyway, but The Power of the Dog was not on my radar because I'm not really that much into sort of Western films, or at least films that appear to be from around that period in the Wild West, as I'll call it. It's actually very nice to see that Netflix is really making a name for itself, and I really like the fact that they have now got so many films that are really out there with nominations, etc. So I do sincerely hope that the industry will stop treating the streamers as, you know, just something like a little brother who's just, you know, making little productions that aren't worthwhile. I really like that, and I mean, I have covered quite a lot of Netflix things. I'm not biased towards them. I also enjoy things that Amazon and Disney Plus have done. Just generally, I'm really on board with streamers and the productions that they are putting out there. I wasn't too sure about what this film was going to be. I actually didn't see a trailer. I just saw some images, and obviously there was a lot of buzz surrounding it when it was released, and still until now. And I just thought it's definitely a film worth checking out. So if you're not quite familiar with what it is, as I said, I wasn't too sure the first 20 minutes. It actually seemed a lot more serious than I expected it to be. Then you've got sort of the title, I'll call it, the title crawl, and you have the music coming on, and then you can immediately tell, okay, there's a lot more comedy, a lot more humour to this than you first thought in the first few minutes. Our basic plot is you have a university student. She is watching the stars for some project that she is doing for a PhD, and then she discovers a comet that is moving, and after doing some calculations, it is determined that this comet is actually heading towards Earth. It's between 5 and 10 kilometers in diameter, so it's massive, and this is an existential level threat, as they call it in the film, meaning that the whole world is going to blow up, basically. She is played by Jennifer Lawrence, and then you have her professor, Professor Mindy, I believe his name is in the film. He's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and the two of them, they immediately report it to NASA and just try and get the message out there. They eventually get to the White House, where they even talk to the president. She's played by Meryl Streep. She is a very Trumpian character, so a lot like we are used to having seen between 2016 and 2020. We're kind of revisiting those vibes from then with her president. And while at first it seems that she's taking it all very serious, you can tell that, you know, they just don't really care. They don't take the two scientists seriously because they're just, you know, they're just private people more or less. They're not from some big institute, etc. And the two of them lose hope because they feel that no one is taking this threat seriously. They've got a time period of about 6 months to save the world, as it were, to find some plan to get rid of the comet. And no one seems to be really doing something to save the world. So we see them going on talk shows and going to newspapers and doing all these things. And yeah, I won't spoil how it goes and what happens in the end, but that is the basic thing. There's a comet hurtling towards Earth, and will we be able to save the world and prevent this or not? Now, it's a very much satirical film. I was thinking about this a bit more the next day now, you know, after having seen it yesterday. I do feel that it is a bit too much, actually, because it's just too one-sided. I very much enjoy satire, and it is, I mean, it's a very thin line that you're walking on, where you're making something that at the same time seems really impossible or really ludicrous, and also being kind of believable. It could kind of happen, so I really enjoy it when it's done very well. And there are a lot of things here that are done very well. It's just the whole relationship we have with the media, how they portray things. I felt very much reminded of, well, just the whole pandemic, where you lose faith in politicians and just other people who are in the spotlight, you know, out in the public, who are just having such a big distrust of scientists, you know, and are not following the science and all these things. So I really got strong vibes of this in the film, and I like that because that has very much been my personal experience for the nearly past 2 years. But I do feel they lay it on a bit too thick. Like the politicians, while I was definitely not a fan of Trump, I do feel that it was just too one-sided. It was like they're just too stupid, too greedy, all these things. You know, I felt it just goes a bit too far, because they've got nothing that really makes them seem like real people. And yes, I know that is what many people think politicians are. They're not real people, as in the sense of, you know, they are just more horrible than you actually expect them to be, etc. Yes, but still, I feel that in the film they could have toned it down just a bit to not make them, they were almost caricatures, you know. It's just like, these people are impossible to even exist. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed it, because this film is fascinating in that sense, because like I say, if you've had a similar personal experience, you will recognise a lot of the situations that you see happening, but at the same time it's also very infuriating, of course, because I really like the first few minutes, just where the two of them, Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, where they are really just reacting to the news, the discovery that they have made, and, you know, trying to put myself in that moment of really existential crisis. I felt they did a really great job. So the first few minutes, like I say, were rather heavy, and then the music turns on and you're like, okay, it's not supposed to be this heavy. You know, and then those moments, they do reappear, and they always bring you back to, you know, remember, you know, this is something that, if you were in this situation, I don't even know how it would react. You know, I think the whole world would probably just really go to shit, honestly, because I can't see humanity, you know, living for half a year with the knowledge of the whole world is just going to explode. But they do bring it back with a lot of humour, etc. And I felt that it was really well done. There were a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film, and just when it walks into the bizarre territory, I felt all that was really well done. Just like I say, could have toned it down a bit. I like the conclusion, I won't spoil it, I really like that. When you think the film's over, there's even a little sort of post-credit scene, I'll call it. I like that as well. It was quite good. You got a payoff to something that was set up a bit earlier. I really like that. So overall, it was really good. The actors are something you need to mention, not just the two I already have named multiple times, but I mean, they are the standouts, definitely. But you have so many people attached to this film, and they really make it great. I mean, sometimes they'll just pop up for a small role, but yeah, it's just wonderful seeing them all. I suppose they all just jumped at the opportunity to be in this film. Now, and I suppose it'll be a lot of fun just playing these over-the-top, nearly unrealistic characters that people just really, I don't know, dislike a lot. It's not just that, even our main characters, I really like the journeys the two of them went on, because Leonardo DiCaprio's character, where at the start you feel like he's the one that's just losing it because he doesn't know what to do in this situation. It is interesting where throughout the first half of the film, I will say, he does more and more just sort of become like all the people that he was looking to and not getting any help from, you know, so he also sort of turns into one of those people. I really like that. He does return to his initial character towards the end of it, so I really like the journey he went through. And then Jennifer Lawrence's character, you just feel sorry for her throughout the film, because it's this unfortunately very realistic situation of having a female scientist, and just because she's got a mullet, you know, and some piercings, etc., she's not taken serious in any way, shape or form. And then when she really tries to make herself heard, where she tries to show that she really is in a real crisis, people just put it down to hysteria, female hysteria and all these things. So I really like that realistic, not only just story for her character, but just the portrayal that goes with it. I feel it's very well made, it's very well edited. At times it feels kind of like a bit of a documentary, because they splice in these images, moving and still images of just things that are happening. At times I wasn't sure if my internet connection was alright, because you suddenly just had a sort of weird cut in there somewhere, you know, where it felt like we missed a few milliseconds or so. So they do something with things with the editing where it made me feel like it's a documentary, and I get it, you know, it kind of is as well in a way. And we keep seeing images of just animals constantly reminding us, you know, this planet, it's not just ours, there's so many other beings here too. So I think maybe I'm a bit too stupid to get the whole thing, but that is what I got from it, you know. That was I like that stylistic choice, you know. Like I say, I was a bit confused at first, but then I got on board with it, and yeah, it was a very interesting way to, you know, just make you think of other things right in the middle of some scene that we're in that we should actually also be considering, and stop being so selfish maybe. Now, I felt overall it was a really good film. In my opinion, I don't feel it is Oscar worthy. I really liked it. I like the message that it's putting out there. I really like the experiences I went through just watching the film and all the emotions. But a best film, not really for me, I will say. I do think that there will most likely be a few more out there, although I haven't seen all the contenders, so who knows what the opposition is like. So definitely watch it for the performances. Definitely only watch it if you like satire and satirical things. So if you if you don't like people making a lot of fun of politicians and how they typically react, or the media reacts, all these things, if that's a bit too extreme for you, this film will not be for you. Otherwise, definitely watch it. I think you'll have a lot of fun, because in the end I do feel it is fun. While it is a very depressing film in that sense, it is made in a very, very fun way, I feel. That'll be all from me. Look forward to seeing the other Oscar contenders as far as I've got access to them, like the two Netflix ones I mentioned. I'll be doing them, not in the next few weeks, but whenever I get to them, but I will eventually get to them because I am quite intrigued by them. So look forward to seeing them. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It continues to be the best way to support this channel. Comment down below any of your thoughts that you have on the film, anything you want to tell me about it, and I'll see you in the next video on Flying Wiener. Take care.